What if destiny gave you a second chance, right when you believed everything was lost? Today, you'll hear a story where every strike of a hammer on an abandoned house was also a step toward rebuilding a heart. Stay with me, you'll love this story. Noah stood in front of the weathered wooden house, taking in every detail time had etched into its frame. It was hard to believe that this had once been a home filled with laughter, memories, and stories. The windows were shattered, the walls cracked as if holding long-forgotten secrets, and the garden, which might have been a vibrant paradise, was now overrun with weeds, swallowing every trace of beauty. Yet, to Noah, there was something more there. This wasn't just an abandoned house. Its broken structure mirrored his own life, abandoned, fractured, but still standing. He took a deep breath, inhaling the damp scent of aged wood mixed with the morning air. Every piece of that house told a story, much like him. At 43 years old, Noah carried the weight of tough decisions and a past that refused to let him move on. For 15 years, Noah had been in a marriage that, to outsiders, seemed perfect. He and Lisa had met in college, and like many couples, their journey began with shared dreams and effortless laughter. But as time went on, the once unbreakable connection began to crumble. Noah was a practical man, hardworking, and a dreamer in his own way. He spent countless hours planning how to build a stable future for his family. Lisa, on the other hand, started seeking something more, something he couldn't provide. Not for lack of trying, but because, over the years, her dreams had changed. Small disagreements grew into long silences, and love was replaced by routine. He recalled lonely nights on the couch while Lisa stayed in the bedroom, absorbed in her phone. Shared dinners became a distant memory, as did conversations about their day. It felt like they were strangers living under the same roof. Attempts to save their relationship through therapy sessions and rekindling getaways only unveiled what both feared to admit: their marriage had become a prison. The turning point came on an ordinary day. Noah discovered a letter in Lisa's desk drawer. It wasn't a love letter but a list of things she couldn't stand about him. The words cut deep. It wasn't just about her criticisms, it was the realization that he had lost himself trying to please someone who no longer wanted to be pleased. That day, Noah made a decision. He couldn't continue living as a shadow of his former self. Divorce, though painful, was inevitable. The months that followed were devastating. Noah moved into a small apartment, leaving behind the house where so many memories were built. Every empty corner seemed to echo with laughter that was no more. He spent sleepless nights sifting through boxes of photographs and old letters, questioning where he had gone wrong and why their love had ended. At work, his productivity plummeted. Friends reached out, but he distanced himself, convinced that no one truly understood his pain. Slowly, he realized it wasn't just his marriage that had ended. He too needed rebuilding. One aimless walk through the city changed everything. That's when he saw the house for the first time. It seemed forgotten by the world, much like he felt. Yet beneath its decay, he saw potential that no one else seemed to notice, except him. That moment marked a turning point. Noah decided that, just like that house, he could rebuild himself, piece by piece. Noah dove headfirst into planning. He bought tools, watched renovation videos, and devoured books on carpentry. The first day was grueling. The musty smell and the scurrying of rats made him question his sanity. But with every plank he removed and every nail he hammered, he felt something shifting within. The house wasn't just a project, it was a way to confront the ghosts of his past. That determination kept him standing strong on that first day, staring at the house. He looked around, took a deep breath, and told himself that if this house could be transformed, so could he. Thus began the first step of a journey that would lead him to far more than he ever imagined. Amid the silence and contemplation, Noah found moments of peace. On an ordinary day, while strolling through the local market, the unexpected happened. The market was a vibrant place, filled with stalls of fresh fruits, colorful flowers, and the irresistible aroma of freshly baked bread. The sound of a guitar played by a street performer carried a palpable sense of nostalgia. Noah, distracted, walked through the aisles, picking out apples. That's when he saw her. She was leaning over a stall, helping a child place fruits into a bag. Her wavy brown hair, tousled by the wind, gleamed under the sunlight. Her smile seemed to light up the entire space around her. For a moment, Noah froze, unsure if his eyes were deceiving him. His heart raced. Could it really be Natalie? The first love of his life, the woman he had never quite been able to forget? He hesitated, feeling a rush of emotions build up inside. Something told him he couldn't let this moment slip away. Slowly, he approached her and with a slightly trembling voice, called her name. Natalie. She turned. Time seemed to slow as her eyes met his. It was a moment filled with emotion and surprise. Her large brown eyes, now touched with the maturity of the years, held the same essence he remembered. Noah saw the mix of recognition and disbelief in her gaze. "Noah," she replied, her voice barely above a whisper, but laden with unmistakable emotion. For a few seconds, neither of them could speak. It was as if the past and present had collided, creating a singular moment. Natalie was holding the hand of a little girl, who watched them curiously. As Noah struggled to find the right words, he noticed the girl looked about 10 years old. "I can't believe it's you," Natalie finally said, breaking the silence with a smile that brought a flood of memories back to Noah. "What are you doing here?" Noah smiled, a little embarrassed. "I moved back a few months ago. Bought a house, or something that barely resembles one. I'm trying to fix it up. And you? What brings you here?" "I moved back 2 years ago," Natalie said, her tone a mix of happiness and a hint of melancholy. "After things changed. Well, this is my daughter, Sofía." The little girl gave a shy smile, and Noah crouched slightly to speak to her. "Nice to meet you, Sofía. I'm an old friend of your mom's, a very old friend." Sofía looked at him with childlike curiosity. "Are you a special friend?" she asked with an innocence that made both Natalie and Noah laugh. There was something in Natalie's smile that Noah couldn't quite decipher. It was as though she was happy to see him, but there was a lingering sadness behind it. Before they could talk further, Natalie explained she needed to finish her shopping and take Sofía home. "Maybe we could catch up sometime? Grab a coffee," she suggested with a hopeful smile. Noah's heart raced again. "Of course, let me know when you're free." "I'd love that." They exchanged phone numbers, something they had never done before, and said their goodbyes. As Natalie and Sofía walked away, Noah stood still for a moment, trying to process everything that had just happened. It felt as though fate had handed him a second chance. 2 days later, they met at a small bistro in the town square. Noah arrived early, nervous, adjusting his shirt and scanning the cozy space. The rustic wooden tables and large windows bathed the room in golden light, creating an almost magical atmosphere. He couldn't help but think how perfect the setting was for their reunion. When Natalie walked in, Noah's heart leaped. She looked just as she had years ago, but there was something different about her, a maturity that time had brought. She smiled when she saw him, and for a moment, the rest of the world seemed to fade away. Their conversation began cautiously, with questions about work, family, and how each had adjusted to life back in the town after so much time away. Noah learned that Natalie was now a music teacher at the local school, a dream she had always cherished. She spoke proudly of Sofía, who had inherited her musical talent but was too shy to perform in public. Between sips of coffee, the two began to talk about the past. That's when Natalie revealed something that changed everything. Noah mentioned the letters he had written to her when he left town to study. He had always wondered why she never replied. Natalie shook her head in disbelief. "I never received any letters, Noah." They both fell silent for a moment until Natalie took a deep breath. "My father. He controlled everything in my life. He didn't believe our relationship had a future. I realize now he must have intercepted the letters." Noah felt a mix of anger and sadness. "Natalie, I wrote to you for months. I waited for a response. I thought you had decided to move on. And I thought the same about you," she replied, her eyes glistening with tears. "I waited so long." The weight of that revelation hit them both deeply. Despite the time that had passed, the feelings between them seemed untouched. The only thing that had separated them before was forces beyond their control. The reunion wasn't just emotional, it was a turning point for both of them. Talking to Natalie brought out a version of Noah he thought he had lost. He felt lighter, as though he had rediscovered a part of himself. After that coffee, they began meeting more frequently. Noah loved hearing Natalie talk about her work and her adventures as a mom. She, in turn, was captivated by his stories about the house he was renovating. With every meeting, their bond grew stronger, as if time and adversity hadn't erased what they once shared. Noah knew this reunion was an unexpected gift, a chance to rebuild something he thought he had lost forever. He was determined to do things differently this time, starting with trust, honesty, and the love he still carried for Natalie. And so, amidst wooden planks, fresh paint, and heartfelt conversations over coffee, Noah felt he was building more than just a house. He was building a new beginning, for himself, for Natalie, and perhaps for Sofía too. The meetings between Noah and Natalie became more frequent. At first, they were simple coffees at the bistro in the square or strolls through the local market. Both were cautious, as if afraid to awaken feelings that needed rediscovering. But as the days passed, caution gave way to spontaneity, and their conversations flowed naturally, unearthing long-buried memories and emotions. Natalie was fascinated by Noah's stories about the house renovation. She listened intently as he described the details of what he had already repaired, from the scent of freshly sanded wood to choosing new paint colors for the walls. For Noah, sharing these moments felt like opening a window into his world, inviting Natalie to be a part of it. One afternoon, Natalie suggested visiting the house. Noah hesitated, still unsure about its unfinished state. But her curiosity was infectious, and he couldn't say no. When they arrived, Natalie was amazed, not by what was already finished, but by the care and dedication Noah poured into every detail. "It's incredible what you're doing here," she said, her fingers tracing the texture of a freshly painted wall. "This isn't just a house. It's an extension of you." Noah felt warmth in his chest at her words. For the first time in a long while, he felt truly understood. As their meetings became more frequent, Noah also grew closer to Sofía. The girl, initially shy, soon warmed up to him. Noah had a natural way of captivating her, whether it was helping her build a small swing in the yard or attentively listening to the imaginative stories she loved to tell. "Do you like my mom?" Sofía asked suddenly, her tone curious, as she drew on the ground with colored chalk. The question caught Noah off guard, but he answered honestly. "I like her very much. And I like you too." Sofía smiled, satisfied with his answer. Noah realized that, unknowingly, the girl was helping to build a bridge between him and Natalie, a bond that felt invisible but unbreakable. From a distance, Natalie watched, her heart torn between fear and hope. It was impossible to deny what she felt. Seeing Noah interact with Sofía warmed her heart in a way she hadn't experienced in years. Yet, there was a deep-seated fear. She had been hurt before and was terrified of letting someone into her life only to be broken again. One quiet afternoon, Noah decided to invite Natalie and Sofía for a picnic in the garden of his house. He had worked tirelessly to restore the space, planting flowers and cleaning the old wooden benches. The sound of birds singing and the gentle rustle of the wind made the place feel magical. While Sofía ran around the garden, picking flowers and spinning tales of princesses and dragons, Noah and Natalie sat under the shade of a large tree. He opened up about his lonely nights after the divorce, the emptiness he had felt, and how renovating the house had become a way to rebuild his life. Natalie, in turn, shared how she had lost her husband and how Sofía had become her strength to keep going. "I've been so afraid to open my heart again," Natalie admitted, gazing at the horizon. "But you make it feel possible." Noah reached for her hand, his eyes meeting hers with a sincerity that left her defenseless. "Natalie, I can't change what happened in the past, but I can promise I'll never give up on you and Sofía. I don't want to be just a memory for you. I want to be part of your present and, if you'll let me, your future too." Finally, the house was finished. Noah stood at the entrance, taking in everything around him. It was hard to believe that the once weathered and empty space was now a home. The walls, once cracked, were now freshly painted in soft tones, reflecting the sunlight streaming through the windows. The garden, once a jungle of weeds, now bloomed with vibrant colors. Every corner, every detail bore the marks of his effort and care. But what made the space truly special wasn't the restored furniture or the perfectly hung curtains. It was Sofía's laughter echoing down the hallway and Natalie's smile as she looked out the kitchen window. The house wasn't just a symbol of physical reconstruction, it was a metaphor for his own life. Just as he had rebuilt the house, piece by piece, he had allowed himself to be renewed, becoming something strong and whole. And just as the house was now full of life, so too was his existence, filled with love and purpose. Since Natalie and Sofía entered his life, Noah had experienced a kind of happiness he had never known before. They shared simple moments rich with meaning. Together, they planted flowers in the garden, baked cookies in the kitchen, and even transformed the house's attic into a small music studio for Sofía to practice her songs. At night, they would gather in the living room, illuminated by the newly installed fireplace, to tell stories, play games, or simply enjoy each other's company. It was in these moments that Noah realized just how much Natalie and Sofia's presence had transformed not only the house but his soul. Noah knew that, even though they were already living like a family, he needed to make his feelings official. One Saturday afternoon, he prepared everything. The living room was decorated with flowers from the garden and soft lights he had installed himself. On the wooden table he had painstakingly restored sat a small blue velvet box. When Natalie and Sofia arrived, the aroma of freshly baked cake filled the air. Sofia ran out to the garden to check the swing Noah had made, while Natalie looked around the room in admiration. "You've outdone yourself, Noah," Natalie said, her smile lighting up the entire space. He took a deep breath, feeling his heart race. This was the moment. "Natalie, Sofia, can I say something to you both?" They stopped and looked at him, curious. Noah knelt down, holding the small box in one hand and extending the other to Natalie. "Natalie, when I bought this house, I thought I was just renovating a place to live. But since you've come into my life, I've realized I was actually building a home. You've brought life to this house, and more than that, you've brought life to me. I want to spend the rest of my life with you, right here in this home. Natalie, will you share this new life with me? And Sofia?" He turned to the little girl, his warm smile matching her curious gaze. "Would you let me be a part of your life, as your family?" Sofia looked at her mother with sparkling eyes and before Natalie could respond, exclaimed, "Yes." Natalie, tears streaming down her face, knelt to embrace Noah. "Yes, Noah. Yes, we want this." That night, as they celebrated with a simple dinner filled with laughter and love, Noah realized just how much his life had changed. The house he had renovated was no longer just a physical refuge, it had become a symbol of renewal, hope, and love. The gentle wind blew through the curtains as the stars sparkled in the sky. Sofia was drawing at the kitchen table, while Natalie rested her head on Noah's shoulder. Sofia proudly handed them her drawing. It depicted the three of them together, with a big heart at the top. "We're a family now, aren't we?" Sofia asked with a shy smile. "Yes, we are, my little one," Noah replied, pulling both of them into a warm embrace. And so, under the soft glow of the stars and the warmth of a home finally complete, Noah, Natalie, and Sofia found not just a place to call home but each other. The painful past that had once burdened them was now a distant memory, replaced by the certainty that true love, no matter how interrupted, always finds its way back. It was the beginning of a new chapter, written on the foundation of trust, resilience, and a love that never truly faded, even when everything seemed lost. If this story touched your heart, share your thoughts in the comments. We'd love to hear how this journey of love and new beginnings made you feel. Thank you for following along with our stories, and I can't wait to see you in the next one.